you remember playing The Sims?
Yeah.
Did you not ever try and make them like go in the bedroom and stuff and go in the bed together?
I don't remember doing that. No, Dan.
Oh man.
But, you know, if that's what you needed to as a teenager.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
How and why should anchors leverage nostalgia in their marketing, Dan?
Do you remember when Freddo's bars were 10p?
Oh,
Or
you're
when
asking
wagon
me-
wheels were actually the size of your fist?
Yes.
Or those alien slime eggs that you stick together and they have a baby. Or going to Blockbuster to rent a video to watch at home. Or playing The Sims for hours at end and trying to make them do it. Or playing with that big chunky grey Game Boy we had with a tiny screen. Or getting your first Nokia 3310. Or watching Art Attack after school. Or WWF Sunday Night Heat. Or mum letting us have screwballs after dinner with a bubble gum in the bottom.
So I remember some of those things.
Do you remember any of those things?
Yeah, well, just stop. We have to focus on, I believe you spoke about trying to make Sims have sex and aliens have sex.
Right.
Yeah? Which I don't remember doing.
Are you joking? That is literally my year at school. Everyone had
You only
those.
went to school for a year.
What? No, my people in my year at school.
Oh, right, yeah.
Whenever do you not remember those gooey eggs that you had like a plastic egg and then you had two of them with a bit of goo and you stick them together? I think it was a myth though.
The mummy alien and the daddy alien. Is that how you learned how things?
Apparently, people said that if you stuck two of the aliens together and wrapped them in goo and left them, a baby alien was born.
And with your adult brain, Dan, do you believe that the gooey alien has the biological and physiological things going on for that to happen?
It might have been designed in a way where there's some reaction and the baby comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, could be, Dan.
I'm sorry, right.
Now
Anchors.
let's focus on the Sims.
No.
Trying
Stop.
to make them...
No, anchors. If anyone relates to this, because I don't want you to make it out that I'm a weirdo, please message us or post on social media or let us know if anyone else has done the alien goo thing.
So if you may try to make aliens have sex,
Yeah.
because that's what Dan did in his 1 year at school,
Yes.
apparently.
But yeah, The Sims.
Yeah.
Do you not remember? You remember playing The Sims?
Yeah.
Did you not ever try and make them like go in the bedroom and stuff and go in the bed together?
I don't remember doing that. No, Dan.
Oh man.
But, you know, if that's what you needed to as a teenager.
Yeah. But anyway, the reason I was asking you, how did it make you feel remembering some of those things that you actually remember?
Do you know what? It made me feel good remembering the screwballs after dinner.
Yes.
Those little ice creams with the bubble gum down at the bottom. Nokia 3310, probably best phone ever made. Indestructible.
Yeah.
Snake could keep you occupied for hours.
Yeah. What about the big grey chunky Game Boy? Do you remember us having that?
Oh, I would absolutely love to still have that. I still remember the carry case I had where you like put game, and it was heavy.
Do you know what makes me laugh? The screen to body ratio on those things, like it was like the size of I don't know your arm, and the screen was
the screen was small, and I don't think the screen even had it wasn't even backlit. Like, didn't you have to? You know, like screens now, you could be in a dark room and you can watch it. That had to have an accessory of a torch that clipped onto it to even see the screen.
Yeah. But the point I'm trying to make, Lloyd, I'm not just saying random things from our childhood.
Sounds like what?
The point I'm trying to make is that numerous scientific studies have proven the power of nostalgia in marketing. And that little activity there was supposed to prove that. Almost did.
Yeah.
But there's been lots of scientific studies, it's not just me saying it, that have proven that integrating nostalgia into your marketing works.
There's no, although I'm taking the mick out of you because you tried to make all your toys have sex, which I think obviously we need to delve into deeper at another day.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that using nostalgia in marketing can have some hugely positive effects. I think the first thing that I want to talk about is capturing attention and creating positive sentiment towards your business or your brand by using nostalgia. And we've recently been working for a project with Sunny D.
Yes.
Do you remember Sunny D?
I do. I've got a nostalgic feeling about the brand.
And we've been working on it for 6 months, so you probably do remember it.
Yes.
But, so Sunny D, I'd say for millennials, so Dan and I believe, are both millennials. If you're between the ages of 25 and about 40, I think you fit into that category now. Sunny D was either the drink that your parents or guardians saw as a healthy, fruity drink, so you had it in your fridge for years and it was tasted amazing, California style or Florida style, was it? And the iconic shaped bottle, or your parents or guardians were the sort of parents who were like, that has so much sugar and you cannot have
not
that.
having it.
And it was like the naughty thing that I had to go around to my mate Johnny.
We weren't allowed it, were we?
No, we weren't allowed it. My mate Johnny always used to have it in his fridge, and I'd go, oh yeah, can I have some Sunny D? Yeah, wicked. And then so either you have the nostalgic feeling of it was in your house growing up, or it was that naughty thing that wasn't in your house, but you could get a sneaky sip of Sunny D at Johnny's house. So working with Sunny D recently, we wanted to capitalise on that nostalgia and that positive sentiment that millennials have towards Sunny D, that naughty feeling, or they're like, oh yeah, I used to drink that. Yeah, that was when I used to finish school and have bread and butter after school because I was still hungry, and then watch kids' TV. Just me.
It is funny you say that, but I guarantee like people listening will remember not just Sunny D, but the experience and what happened around drinking Sunny D. You said your story of Johnny.
Yeah.
Speaking to lots of people that, I remember when I did that at a friend's house or in different situations. It's clever.
And it's linking your brand or business with that positive sentiment and that nostalgic feeling. So we've tried to focus with Sunny D around, linking it with lots of those positive feelings of the 90s and the noughties for millennials when we were younger. And so I absolutely loved that we got to work with these guys because both of them were brilliant in very different ways, actually. So we got to work when we were working on Sunny D to try and think what kind of famous faces, nostalgic faces could we work with on this campaign. So I'm really excited to say we got to work with Sean Williamson, who's been in lots of BBC shows. He's worked with Ricky Gervais. He's had some of your famous duff moments in that famous soap opera from the BBC. And also we got to work with Dave Benson Phillips, who is the king of gunge. If you don't remember Dave Benson Phillips as a millennial from Kids TV, then where were you? Maybe in a different country. I don't think he was popular outside the UK. But anyway, we worked with both of those guys, and millennials love talking about their Tamagotchi and watching Noel's House Party and Gladiators on a Saturday night. So we basically got to work writing content and preparing content that would mention lots of these lovely nostalgic things, and obviously including these nostalgic personalities to kind of wake up that nostalgia and that positive feeling, those positive cultural moments to link Sunny D with. And we basically want to take millennials back to like 1996 when they're watching this content and have that positive sentiment towards the content we're creating and the brand. So even just saying 1996 there, I remember I had Euro 1996 pajamas.
Did you?
I remember you did as well because they were matching. You're a bit younger, so you probably don't remember this. But we went on our first holiday, our first time in a plane in 1996 because I remember wearing those pajamas in this hotel in Salou. You probably
I don't remember that.
But I suppose that's what these are even talking about that, my brain was like buzzing, going, oh yeah, I remember those pajamas, and they had the lion on it. I think it was a lion, the mascot for Euro 96. But this is what we want potential Sunny D customers, their brains to be doing, thinking, oh yeah, I remember that was so good, and linking the brand with that and that positive sentiment. And I, thinking about that holiday, those Euro 96 pajamas, all that, get me some Sunny D.
Yeah.
I want to drink it. I feel so good. I want to drink some Sunny D now.
Well, the science backs this up, Lloyd. That study I mentioned, they found that feeling nostalgic weakens a person's desire for money. So in other words, someone might be more likely to buy something when they're feeling nostalgic. Like you had that good feeling, I feel like... Yeah. I can imagine you in that mindset. Like if you saw something you liked from that era, I'll buy that. It's that kind of, I'll buy that.
I 100%, when we were talking about the Game Boy earlier, in my mind, I was thinking...
I want to buy a Game Boy.
I would buy one of those. And I know I would pay far more than it's worth if you just think of what it is, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not that nostalgia thinks, no, it's worth more than that. I don't care. And when we first worked with Sunny D, and obviously working on, how can we're sort of relaunching Sunny D in the UK. And we're thinking, why promote it as a health drink, or why promote it purely on taste when there's this nostalgia for millennials in the UK that have this positive sentiment towards the brand and that time.
Yeah.
Let's take them back to that time when they were watching Sean Williamson and Dave Benson Phillips on TV and playing with their Tamagotchis and GameCubes.
There's a key
GameCubes.
I remember GameCubes.
There's another bit of nostalgia. Nice.
There's a key reason I think this works though, and it comes back to triggering emotion. As humans, when our emotions are triggered, it makes us take action. If you look back at like your social media feed, at things that you've shared, like go to Facebook, look at what you've shared recently, or on Instagram on your story. I guarantee if you look at those things, you'll know that triggered some kind of emotion. You know, if you see something that makes you like upset or sad or happy or excited, you instantly want to like share that and take some kind of action. Yeah. And that's why this works so well, because it makes you feel something, doesn't it?
I think you've got to think about your product or service and think, how can you sort of unlock that nostalgic potential and link that with your products. And I think you've got to think about, how old are my target market? How old? We're talking about millennials for Sunny D, but you might have older customers, and things in the 70s and 80s might be nostalgic to them, or you might have teens who actually things in the 2010s, 5 to 10 years ago, are going to be nostalgic to them. And I think we had a client. I remember back in the day. This has got to be in the first year or two of our business. So
I know exactly who you're going to reference.
2017.
Yeah,
we had a product that was linked with cars and stuff.
The old
kind
cars.
Of paint, and we posted. So this is obviously a tactic that would never work now. But we had pictures of old cars. So say there were cars
like
from the 70s. 4 old cars, and we did the classic like old engagement bait of like react on Facebook to the one you like. So like thumbs up for the whatever it is. Laughing face for this. And people like
thousands
of reactions because people, oh my god, this car's well better than that. People remember like we had weird comments of people's first sexual experience in the back of these cars. We had people talking about stories of, I did up this car for years and like, that was my first car I got when I was 19. And we unlocked that nostalgia for that, and it was a different tactic on a different platform that wouldn't work now. But its nostalgia has continued to work to wake up that positive sentiment. And if you can do that and link it with your product or service or brand, you're unleashing so much potential.
You made a really good point there about understanding who your target market are to make sure you don't miss the mark, which kind of takes me on to my next point.
Yeah.
I think you can very easily end up being like the parent that's trying to be cool with their kids' friends by like, hey, look at the Tamagotchis and stuff like that. Whereas you can really easily miss the mark if you don't truly understand and don't do it in the right way.
Yeah. Like I misspoke and I said GameCube instead of Game Boy.
Yeah.
If you post a thing about a Game Boy and say, remember when we were playing on our GameCubes? You've completely missed it. Like, well, clearly this is a marketing team putting this out there. You do not give a shit about this. You don't know anything about it. Or if you're like, get your Tamagotchos out. You're like, no, that's not what it's called.
If anyone's seen, have you seen Mean Girls, Lloyd? It's a legendary film. Come on.
Probably cried watching it.
Yeah. So Mean Girls. There's Regina's mum in that who's like trying to be the cool mum and stuff. And that really reminded me of this, that you don't want to be that parent that's like trying to be cool and down with the kids. You really need to understand who you're trying to target and understand the language they use. Yeah. Something that in terms of like an actionable tip for anchors is there's 2 things I'd recommend. One, having people in the target market actually work on the marketing campaign is incredibly effective, because you can have like for example, with Sunny D that we're talking about, there's various millennials that work in the office and we're millennials, and we understand those references from that time that we can very easily draw upon. And if you're like, I don't know, if you're trying to target Gen Z and all your marketing team are boomers, it will probably be quite difficult just internally to talk about those relatable situations and scenarios and language.
I would say if you work hard, you can do it, even if you're not in that target market. But I think it definitely helps. I think from people that aren't from that demographic, if they are willing to put the time and effort in and the work, that's really important to understand the target market, as well as if you have people from in that target market. I think both of those things mean, build to actually understand your customers and not do this thing where you miss the mark and then it's a bit cringy for the target market.
And that's my second point. So have ideally have people in the target market internally, but in most cases that doesn't happen all the time. So that's when you need to put more legwork into the research stage of actually speaking to the target market, interviewing them, sending them like survey monkeys, asking them about different questions, doing focus groups to really understand the language they use. We did this with one of the longest running male grooming brands we work with, speaking to barbers and asking them like, well, none of us are barbers in here. We're doing a campaign attracting barbers, asking them what kind of language do you use? What things do you talk about with other barbers that is funny and interesting, so that we could tap into that.
And it's so clear to your customers or your potential customers, if you've kind of taken a shortcut and you've just quickly tried to put a marketing campaign together, or if you've actually done the research and you really know how your customers think, how they talk, what they care about. Because we've all seen examples where you're like, they don't get it, and you kind of dismiss it, or you'll see a marketing campaign, and let's be honest, it's a marketing campaign. It's someone trying to make some money, but they've done so well where you're like, oh god, that is clever. That's really good, actually. Yeah,
customers are more cautious of marketing nowadays, and they can sniff this a mile off. If you think of like the early days of like influencer marketing, where someone would hold some toothpaste up and go, I love this product, it's great. And you'd be like, that's someone I trust. They must love that product. Now it's so obvious and you have to be very overtly clear that something is an advert, that people are more cautious of marketing and they can sniff this stuff a mile off. So it's really not worth trying to pretend. Like, it's worth either having people internally to work on this who are in the target market, or putting the research and time in to understand them.
And talk about research and time. My next point, right? It is to do with AI.
Okay.
I know you didn't think it was going in this direction with nostalgia, but the reason nostalgia works so well, or one of the reasons, is because it reminds you about something or a time or a place or a thing that you've forgotten about. Yeah. Basically. So, and that's great. So you're like, oh my God, I had not thought about Tamagotchis. Your brain's like, God, we hadn't heard the word Tamagotchi in 6 years. That's woken up this part in my brain of these great feelings and thoughts, and I'm now thinking about that. But the negative thing about this in marketing is it makes it really hard, because you're trying to find things that have been forgotten. So the reason that it works so well, it's this stuff. Oh my God, I haven't thought about that for years. Yeah. It's like, no, none of our brains have, which makes it really hard to do a good job with this. But now, using AI, using ChatGPT, so for this Sunny D campaign, for some of the ideas that I had, so I was actually part of the script writing with my colleague Eleanor for the Sunny D campaign. And I was so happy that I could get back involved with script writing for this one. It was really fun. And there was just some gaps where I was like, oh, I feel like I want to add some more references in here, nostalgic references. And because it's that detail in your content that people kind of latch onto and might get a bit more engagement, because, you mentioned this, I remember that. And I used ChatGPT and started asking it about like the most popular cultural events in the 90s and products and stuff. And as an example here, right, so I just asked ChatGPT what the most popular toys were in 1996.
Interesting.
And so within 15 seconds, I got, are you ready, millennials, for some more tingling in your brain?
Hit me.
Okay. We've already said the first one, but Tamagotchis, Pogs,
yes,
Action Man, Barbie, Pokemon,
yes,
Lego, yes, Super Soakers, and one of my favourite ones, the final one, board games like Mousetrap, Buckaroo, and Operation were also popular. And like, I read that and I was like, oh, Buckaroo! I used to have that, and again, that little fizzle in your brain, all that positive stuff going on. And so yeah, that. If you're struggling, or if you're not in that target market, wherever, it can be like, okay, right. Oh, there's something here. In that, it could be like, oh, hang on, Barbie. Like there's just been a massive film and loads of marketing about Barbie. Can we link to nostalgia about Barbies and Action Men and that kind of thing? Or can we get a reference to Buckaroo in? But yeah, so the key point, if you're stuck for nostalgic ideas, if you're a creative or if you're in marketing and you're kind of like, oh God, I need something to help me start this ideation, use ChatGPT to help you brainstorm and pick up some of those nostalgic references and see if there's anything you can build upon.
Do you remember when we used to play Mousetrap with our two cousins, our older cousins, and every time it was us two, one of them was a boy and
Yes.
Michelle, and we would just run away and not tidy it up.
Yeah, I think the boys, it was a different time. But the boys,
we'd take ages setting it up, and then as soon as it finished,
if you know Mousetrap, you get to a point and then it all does this thing, and then there's loads of stuff to clear up. And so we used to do that a good bit. Yeah, great. Me, Dan, and David would run off, and then Michelle would clear everything up. As an adult, I definitely would
wouldn't
not
do that.
make females tidy up after males. But yeah, that used to happen. Sorry, Michelle.
Yeah. But no, I really think like this is just another example of how businesses that don't embrace AI are going to get left behind. Because think of, without this, you could still come up with these things. It would just take a lot more time, a lot more effort, a lot more resource, brain power. Whereas you can type something in and 5 seconds later, it's got all these ideas.
Like, I'm confident that there were 2 or 3 references, I think, that the ideas came from ChatGPT about things from the 90s that I hadn't thought of yet that made the final scripts of our content. And I know that those 2 or 3 things have upped how good that content is. Maybe it's 10% better than it would have been. And if you're going to put money into marketing campaigns, if that's 10% better, if that reaches 10% more people, if that engages 10% more people, if that sells 10% more products, that small idea could be worth could be worth thousands of pounds.
Something you need to be prepared for when you do this, though, Lloyd, which is really important, is you need to be ready to capitalize on the additional engagement you're going to get from doing this. And this is a really important point. Genuinely, by adding these nostalgic references into your content, you are going to drive more engagement. More engagement means more people seeing your content. And the more engagement you get, the more people are going to see it and the better results you're going to get. And one thing you can do to capitalize on this is to make sure that you are promptly responding to people commenting on your post. This is like a strategy that we've implemented. Promptly replying to people, asking them a question so that you continue the conversation. It drives more engagement. We found this. Do you remember when we made that video? So a few years ago, we created one of our first sketches that really popped off called Marketing Channels in Real Life.
Yeah, I thought you were going to talk about that. Yeah.
And it was basically, the concept was, it was a job interview scenario, and different marketing channels were being interviewed for this job. So you had like influencer marketing being interviewed. You had leaflets being interviewed. You had LinkedIn ads, YouTube.
It was people representing these
people representing these different platforms. And someone really creative wrote a script.
Hello.
That cleverly tapped into like relatable things to do with these channels. So one of the lines, the leaflets was there saying, "I'm all right, but I usually get chucked in a skip." And like these little references that people would relate to. Oh yeah, people do chuck leaflets in skips. And
I would say Dan's delivery of that line. Yeah, in this case, it kind of ruined how good the line was.
Yes, just go and watch the video because it's I'm regurgitating it here. But one of the references that was really clever in that sketch that popped off was, we spoke about knickknacks. So one of the characters on that video was a person representing cold calling. And one of the lines, I've actually got the exact line here. So the person who's doing the cold calling is on the phone, like trying to sell something and being annoying. And then they sort of say, "I'm just going to put you on hold." And then they lean over to their friend next to them who's in the call center and they say, "Are they knickknacks? I used to love ribbon saucy, cream and cheesy. Oh, you dirty bitch. No one likes cream and cheesy." And Lloyd delivered this line. And the thing that was commented about most on that video is people referencing, "Oh my God, I love knickknacks. Knickknacks are great," from that one small line in that video. And it just goes to show that having these references drives engagement. And then we like got tons more comments and things, like looking at the data. So that post got 438 comments, 91 reposts and 84 reactions, all because we continued that engagement by someone would say, "Oh my God, I love knickknacks." And then I would say, "What's your favorite flavor?"
By the way, also, if you're listening to this thinking, what the hell how's it going to benefit my business? Someone commenting about knickknacks on my videos. To give you the wider context, that's a good question to be asking. And I would say you're probably good at business if you're asking that question. But the answer is, in this case, if we get double the amount of engagement on a piece of content, the algorithms are going to look at that and go, oh, more people are engaging in this. This is more. This is high quality content. It's going to put out this content to more of your potential customers without you having to pay for that. Or if it's a paid campaign, it's going to put you in front of more potential customers at a cheaper level. So it's just allowing you to reach more people, putting less resource in. And that's the start of the process. Obviously, the rest of that content, if you just made content about knickknacks that had nothing to do with your business, I probably would say, yeah, there's not much point there. But that video or that content, the wider context is talking about your business or selling your products or services. And that's what gets you the value. The knickknack line has got loads more engagement, has got it in front of loads more people, and you've got excellent value from your marketing because you put a line in about knickknacks.
Imagine the compounding benefit of that over time. That's one video reaching 10% more people. Imagine like us, we're putting out 2 videos a day. Imagine that 10% increase over a period of a few months. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely integrate nostalgia into your marketing. Hopefully you've been convinced to do that, and hopefully the examples you've shared have inspired you to want to do that.
I think the key thing is understanding your target market. What age is your
that's so crucial.
Your target market, and where are they from? Because obviously nostalgic things in the UK or the US are completely different, or nostalgic things for a 23-year-old and a 73-year-old are completely different. But if you nail that down and do that well, like we're saying, even the things we mentioned here, we felt so good when it's like, oh, GameCube, oh yeah, Pogs, oh. And then Dan's obviously like, oh yeah, making Sims have sex and aliens and stuff. Obviously his is more unique.
Yeah.
But that feeling you get when you're like, oh yeah, I remember that feeling I got when I remembered the Euro 96 pajamas that I had back in 1996 on our first holiday that we went on in a plane. That's the feeling you want to emulate. Link your products and services with that positive nostalgic feeling.
When the alien baby is finally born, you wait till you get that feeling. You won't compare it to anything.
Nothing compares, other than talking about knickknacks.
I think the final thing people should do is, we've been talking a lot about Sunny D. Go to Sunny D's Instagram account and go and look at some of the content we created to relaunch the campaign.
By the time this is out, the main sort of, well, some of the main content will be released, the awareness stuff. I would say, have a look at some of the Sean Williamson videos. You won't be disappointed.
And we'll see you in your ears next week. Just before you go, we want to take a second to talk about our podcast sponsors, Adobe Express. Adobe Express enables anyone to quickly and easily create standout social graphics, logos, flyers, banners, and more on the web and mobile. There are so many amazing features and benefits to using Adobe Express. You can choose from thousands of beautifully designed templates to inspire you and get started. You can quickly remove a background, convert JPEG to PNG, videos to GIFs, merge videos, change video speeds, and more. Apply your brand to your content in just a tap and collaborate with your colleagues through shared templates and libraries. You'll also get access to the entire diverse, royalty-free Adobe stock photo collection created by the world's best professionals, and choose from over 20,000 licensed Adobe fonts, as well as their collection of curved typesets, grids, and exquisite font pairings. You can apply standout photo effects in seconds, discover easy bite-sized tips to get you started on the Learn tab, or connect on one of their creator community spaces to stay close to our team and fellow users. Now that's a lot of features to get your teeth into. Click the link in the description of the episode to give Adobe Express a go today, and we'll see you next week.